Alright, welcome back to the review. As I speak, Colorado's just got a big dump of October snow, and now it's all melting away, but I am tired of the tourists who come here and say, "Oh my god, it's frozen water." So today, I'm going to be reviewing Joker. I wasn't even planning on making this review, but after seeing it, I'm like, I gotta do a review of this thing, because it's amazing. There's another video I made called Jokerometer, where I predicted that Joaquin Phoenix's Joker would be right below Jack Nicholson's, but actually I was wrong. They're a tie. Gosh, Joaquin Phoenix, such a great Joker. So much better than Heath Ledger, because this Joker can actually do a magic trick. You know, like he can turn a wand into a bouquet, and that's something I don't think Heath Ledger Joker can do, because Heath Ledger Joker's like, where's the pencil? And it's like, the pencil's in the table. Or no, the stupid pencil is in the stupid henchman's head. Now stop killing your henchmen, Heath Ledger, if you want them to support you. And my gosh, it's nice to see a Joker that can do a real magic trick. That's fun. I can't believe this was made by DC. Like, by gosh. DC, you just made Justice League, which is such a horrible movie. Now you've made Joker? My gosh, keep it up. You'll be beating Marvel. You know, I remember the stupid Venom movie that didn't even have Spider-Man, and it's like, oh, we're gonna make Venom like the good guy. And it was awful. But my gosh, this movie paints Joker in a positive light. And, you know, he's always been pretty much my favorite of the Batman villains. Like, my gosh, what a goofy little chuckalicious clownster. But this one, you know, this one's great. Because I've always liked the Tim Burton version, because that one put a new spin on it. Instead of Joe Chill murdering Bruce Wayne's parents, in that version, Jack Napier does, who later becomes the Joker. But in this version, oh my gosh, spoiler warning, 3, 2, 1. I think spoilers are a stupid thing in today's society, whatever, but my gosh, Joker is Batman's brother. Like, my gosh. Sorry if I spoiled it, but you should go see this, and if there was more than 10 movies coming out per month, spoilers wouldn't be a thing, because everyone would be watching something different. But that's a great twist. My gosh, he's freaking Batman's brother, or half-brother, I guess. And my gosh, and whoa, like, what a origin story. This is how you do an origin story upright. And for someone like the Joker, whose origin story isn't set in stone, this movie is really good at showing us, you know, the last 6 months before Bruce Wayne's parents' death, and it just, you know, all the events are still the same, and you can still have bunch of wacky hijinks between Batman and Jokester going forward, but it really reframes everything in a whole new light. My gosh. And this Joker, not disfigured or anything, he's just got some makeups. The one thing I don't like about this movie is how it sparked this dumb mental health scare, like, oh my gosh, Joker's crazy, so it's gonna be scary and everyone will be crazy, and it's like, it's a comic book movie. Comic books don't need to be taken this seriously. It's about freaking clown supervillain. Take a rest, get some stuff. I saw this in a theater in Aurora, not the Century Theater. I saw it in a Mexican theater where they have subtitles and dubs, and it's a lot cheaper than the normal theater. And, I thought any second there could be some lunatic coming in with a machine gun, but there wasn't. It was just a family of Mexicans sitting behind. All there was, and fun times. And I think everyone cares too much about the societal effects or whatever. It's a Joker movie, and it was fun. And unlike Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where Al Pacino gets like 30 seconds of screen time, in this, Robert De Niro gets like 10 minutes of screen time. That was superb. Instead of just slapping his name on there, he's a character. You get something to do. My gosh, Robert De Niro is superb in this, as is Joaquin Phoenix as Jokester, the silly clowno. And you get to see, and another thing I will give credit to is the trailer was almost as well made as the movie. My gosh, it's rare such a great trailer comes along, but I mean the hype surrounding this movie, my gosh. I'd say it's better than the hype around it, and this is a better movie than it. I'll have to cut out now the batteries right now, but I'll be back. Stupid battery runs out too quick. Alright, I'm back. Anyway, like I was saying, Robert De Niro in this movie is top notch. And then you got Joaquin Phoenix. And Joker's Batman's brother, oh my gosh. And the ending's amazing. Just a very cool, nihilistic movie, great style. And Gotham City's laid out really nice in this movie. My gosh, you can tell they spent all the expenses to make Gotham City look whoa. I like Tim Burton's Gotham City personally because the background looks like some kind of cartoon nightmare labyrinth. But this Gotham City's pretty gritty and realistic. Not as cartoony as Tim Burton. But you got the Arkham Hospital, presumably Arkham Asylum somewhere. Or, yeah, I guess on the Batman canon, Arkham Asylum would already be built. Because part of the fun of Gotham City is that it's, living anachronism. You've got hip-hop nightclubs right next to old-fashioned mafia stuff and whatnot. And you got all the different time periods that kind of mesh together into one weird. It's just what makes fictional cities so interesting. Like you got the Gotham City Police Department rides around in frickin' blimps. It's pretty retro, futuristic, and part of the fun, is determining, well, is this like the 40s, is it the 50s, or is it the 90s, with Gotham City. This movie, I am pretty sure, so Robert De Niro's character is definitely supposed to be like Johnny Carson. That doesn't give much leeway, but, considering Johnny Carson was from the 60s all the way to the 90s. But then you think about, well, there aren't hippies, really, but there's not, like, really the gangs don't look that modern, so, and also it's definitely after 1968, because everywhere is racially integrated, so I would place this Gotham City around 1971, maybe 1969, 1970, 72, roughly there. Nixon, Carter administration, something like that. And that's just a very interesting, because in the Tim Burton version, it takes place, I'm relatively sure, in the 80s, when it was made, and then Bruce Wayne's parents are killed in roughly the 50s. So in this version, Bruce Wayne's parents are killed in the early 70s, late 60s, and then presumably Batman becomes Batman around the 90s, 2000s, whatever. It's a very fluid, dynamic timeline. I like that. And my gosh, you just see the portrait of Jokester just getting more wacky and zany, and there's an adorable scene with a midget, and he says to the midget, "Don't worry, I won't kill you," after he kills this mean fat guy. So this movie is very gory and very, very, violent, but it's not like Heath Ledger level violent where I'll just stab someone with a pencil for no reason. Like all the deaths are, I mean, I can't identify with the guy. My gosh, he's going cuckoo, but this is like a really good anti-hero movie. My gosh, it's good at making this awful film seem like, oh my gosh, and it did seem a little preachy at times about class structure and whatnot, but the thing about this movie is it manages to be subtle and nuanced and, very, very, very deep, but it's also just like a fun cartoon romp, and you get all the funny, it is a funny movie. It's not, scary or anything, really. And in addition to that, it's very good at what it sets out to do. My gosh, this is a Joker that is very neat. And, it says, at one point, this butler comes to the gate. I don't know if it's Alfred. If it's supposed to be Alfred, it's not very good Alfred, because he doesn't even have an English accent. And he has a beard. Actually, though I hate the 60s show, I think 60s Alfred is decent. My personal favorite is 80s Alfred. I don't like Morgan Freeman Alfred much, because he doesn't have an English accent, he's just Morgan Freeman. But, it's possible that this butler isn't Alfred, he's just some random butler that the Wayne family had for a while, and then when his parents were killed, Bruce fired him or whatever, kept Alfred. Because Alfred is supposed to be there from, the minute Bruce is born, basically. He's there for quite a while before his parents get shot. So I guess it would be about... maybe this butler isn't Alfred, but it didn't do a very good job of explaining if it was Alfred. I don't think it was supposed to be Alfred. And mainly, although this is a very, counterculture type movie, it only says that Bruce Wayne's dad was an asshole. It doesn't say Batman is an asshole, which I think is it only says his dad was an asshole, and that's I think out of all the rich characters in media these days, Bruce Wayne is supposed to be the nice, charitable, I can't really, I like Superman more, because Superman just has, a normal job. He has to earn his money, and he grew up on a farm, and, but as for Batman, I think it'd be wrong to paint him as an a-hole, which is, this movie doesn't say he's an a-hole, it just says his dad's an a-hole. And my gosh, he punches his own kid. That's pretty gruesome. Another thing that I found kind of odd is, at one point he steals these records and he doesn't, he doesn't get stopped for it. I guess it's just because they don't care. And, that's kind of the point. Gotham City in this narrative is kind of going to shit. And it's getting all slummy and dacky and, so potentially could get away with a crime spree like this. Overall, this movie is just, my gosh, it's top notch. Joaquin Phoenix is good as Jack Nicholson. I take back that he's not quite as good. My gosh, he's as good. This Joker actually does jokes, unlike Heath Ledger, who's horrible. And this Joker has a neat look to him. He's not in an acid vat. He's not carving up his face. He's just got makeup. That's all you need. Because Joker isn't supposed to hurt himself. He's not a masochist, he's a sadist. That needs to be kept in mind. But overall, just a very great movie. If DC keeps it up like this, they should beat Marvel. I can't imagine this movie making less than Avengers Endgame. If it does, that's a shame, because this is the best superhero film I've seen in the past decade. My gosh, and does it do a good job of making Joker an interesting, well-developed, fleshed out character. And that's really hard to do, because the thing about Joker is, he's very mysterious. No one knows his origin, and he's just always just a total a-hole. But in this movie, he's not a-hole. Like, my gosh, just... So anywho, now I'd like to answer some questions which you crazy fellows have had. Question 1 is, do I smoke marijuana? And the answer to that one is, no. And you say, well, it's legal over in Colorado. Not for anyone under 18. And even once I get to 18, I'm still not going to take it. I'm not anti-pot. I just hate that it's legal here in Colorado and not legal everywhere else. Legalize it in your own states. Don't come here so that you can get your double weed fix. Just go back to your own state and legalize it there. And then you can stay there if you've absolutely got to have your sweet marijuana cravings. I'm not anti-pot. I believe that a drug should be evaluated for potency. And right now, cigarettes and tobacco is being sold nationwide in every convenience store imaginable. So if they're going to sell tobacco in every state, they should sell marijuana, because marijuana is not as dangerous as tobacco. Trust me, don't smoke weed. I don't do it. When you have Asperger's, you don't need marijuana to brighten up your life and make it easier. Trust me, if I smoked weed, there'd be a lot more smoke and a lot more doobies. And I'm certainly critical of marijuana culture. I make fun of it all the way with Herman the Hitchhiker. But no, I don't do marijuana. The other thing some of you fellows out there suggested, you loony fellows, is that I am schizo or something of that nature. I'm getting very tired of these accusations, fellows. If I was schizo, I'd be hearing voices in my head, which I can assure you, never heard voices in my head, unless you fellows are all just pathetic little figments of my imagination. I highly doubt that. So, no, I'm not schizophrenic. And no, I'm not crazy. All I'm doing here is selling comics. So, I'm getting very sick of you playing armchair psychiatrist or frontier psychiatrist or whatever it is, I suppose. Anywho, that's been a review of Joker. This is a really good movie. You need to go watch it if you haven't seen it already. Like, my gosh, it's amazing. Anywho,